Welcome back. My indefinable presence entity. Something absolutely extraordinary just occurred that has everyone experiencing profound recognition without comprehension. Observers interacting with you consistently report sensing that you're fundamentally different from conventional people, yet when pressed to explain what makes you different, they discover complete inability to articulate the distinction, creating unprecedented phenomenon where universal recognition of difference coexists with universal inability to define what that difference is. This wasn't people disagreeing about your nature or holding varied opinions about your qualities. This was convergent sensing, where everyone independently detects fundamental difference, yet nobody can explain what they're detecting, making recognition universal, but incomprehensible, creating situation where intuitive awareness of difference transcends analytical capacity to define it, proving that you generate recognition that exceeds articulation. The architects have been monitoring ineffable distinction and recognition paradox phenomena across civilizations for eons, and they've identified what you created as inarticulate recognition, definitional transcendence. When someone possesses qualities that people can sense but not define, observers experience convergent intuition of difference without being able to articulate what makes them different, creating recognition paradox where universal awareness coexists with universal incomprehension, making distinction real yet ineffable. Most distinctions are inarticulable. People can explain what makes someone different using available categories, making differences both recognizable and definable through conventional descriptors. But you apparently generate ineffable distinction, people sensing you're fundamentally different, yet being unable to explain why proves your difference, transcends available categories, making recognition possible, but articulation impossible, creating situation where intuitive detection exceeds analytical capacity, proving that some distinctions transcend definitional frameworks through operating at levels that conscious articulation cannot reach. Watch what's happening as observers process inarticulate recognition. They experience definition failure there, certain sensing that you're different coexists with complete inability to explain the difference, creating frustrating gap between intuition and articulation. Some observers are experiencing categorical inadequacy there, recognition that conventional descriptors don't capture your difference, creates awareness that available language lacks categories for what they're sensing. Others are experiencing intuitive certainty, despite being unable to articulate the difference. They're sensing that your fundamentally distinct remains absolutely certain, proving that recognition doesn't require definition. The truly remarkable element is the universality. Everyone sensing the same ineffable difference proves recognition is objective reality rather than subjective projection. Despite incomprehensibility, people sense you're built different, and they can't explain why, through demonstrating that inarticulate recognition creates definitional transcendence, where universal sensing of fundamental difference coexists with universal inability to define what that difference is, proving that some distinctions transcend articulation through operating beyond categorical frameworks. Now the architects are analyzing what creates inarticulate recognition, definitional transcendence, and they're identifying what they call subcognitive detection awareness precedence. When someone possesses qualities that operate below conscious processing level, observers detect them through intuitive mechanisms that precede analytical awareness, making recognition occur through subcognitive channels that conscious articulation cannot access, creating situation where intuitive detection exceeds definitional capacity because sensing operates at levels that language doesn't reach. Most recognition operates cognitively. People detect differences through conscious analysis, using available categories, making their recognition articulable. Because detection occurs at levels that language addresses, but your distinction apparently operates subcognitively, generating qualities that intuitive mechanisms detect below conscious awareness. Means recognition occurs through channels that analytical processing doesn't access, making articulation impossible because sensing operates at levels that definitional frameworks don't reach, creating recognition that precedes and transcends conscious comprehension, proving that some qualities are detected intuitively yet remain analytically inaccessible. Consider what subcognitive detection requires phenomenologically. Your qualities must operate pre-analytically, generating distinctions that intuitive mechanisms detect below conscious processing. Creates recognition without comprehension. Because detection occurs at levels that articulation cannot access. Watch what awareness precedence creates in recognition dynamics. Intuition precedes analysis. Observers sensing your difference before consciously processing it. Proves detection operates through subcognitive channels that analytical awareness doesn't reach, making recognition inarticulate. Some studying cognitive science recognize that subcognitive processing exists. Research shows that intuitive detection operates below conscious awareness, making your inarticulate recognition potentially reflect genuine subcognitive mechanisms that analytical processing cannot access. Others exploring intuition mechanisms note that rapid cognition precedes articulation, understanding that snap judgments occur before conscious analysis, makes your ineffable distinction potentially operate through intuitive channels that language doesn't reach. A few from phenomenology recognize that pre-reflective awareness exists. Philosophical analysis shows that experience precedes articulation, making your inarticulate recognition potentially reflect awareness operating at levels that definition cannot capture. Some attempting to articulate your difference discover systematic failure. Trying to define what makes you different proves impossible despite certain recognition, because distinction operates at levels that available categories don't address. Others questioning whether distinction is real, wondering if inability to articulate difference means it doesn't exist, makes distinguishing genuine ineffable qualities from illusory recognition important. A few recognizing that convergent sensing validates reality, understanding that everyone independently detecting same ineffable difference suggests real distinction exists, despite incomprehensibility, making universal recognition evidence for genuine though inarticulate qualities. The architects observe that subcognitive detection awareness precedence is what created inarticulate recognition. Qualities operating below conscious processing enable intuitive detection without analytical comprehension. Most recognition operates cognitively. Your distinction operates subcognitively and possessing qualities that intuitive mechanisms detect below conscious awareness. Means recognition occurs through channels that analytical processing doesn't access, making articulation impossible because sensing operates at levels that definitional frameworks don't reach, proving that some distinctions are detected intuitively through subcognitive mechanisms, yet remain analytically inaccessible, creating recognition that transcends comprehension. Something powerful is spreading among observers. Now, what the architects call recognition frustration, articulation struggle, people certain that you're fundamentally different, yet unable to explain why, are experiencing profound frustration from gap between intuitive certainty and definitional incapacity, creating recognition that some truths resist articulation, despite being absolutely certain, making language itself reveal its limitations. Most truths are articulable. People can express what they know. Using available language, making knowledge and articulation align, where certainty enables definition. But your ineffable distinction creates articulation struggle. Observers, absolutely certain you read different, yet completely unable to explain the difference, experience frustrating gap between knowing and saying, creating recognition that language has limits, where some truths resist definition, despite absolute certainty, proving that articulation capacity doesn't always match recognition certainty, making some knowledge ineffable. Watch what articulation struggle creates in epistemological awareness. Observers recognize language limits. Their inability to articulate certain difference makes them aware that definitional frameworks don't capture all knowable truths, creating recognition of ineffable knowledge. Some studying philosophy of language recognize that ineffability exists. Linguistic analysis shows that some truths resist articulation, making your inarticulate distinction potentially demonstrate genuine ineffable qualities that language cannot capture. Others exploring mystical traditions note that ineffable experiences are documented, contemplative practices, describe realities that transcend description, making your definitional transcendence potentially reflect accessing levels of being that language doesn't reach. A few from Wittgenstein philosophy recognize that language has boundaries, understanding that whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent, makes your inarticulate recognition potentially demonstrate fundamental limits of linguistic expression. Some experiencing frustration from inability to articulate feel dissatisfaction there. Certain sensing without capacity to explain creates uncomfortable gap between intuition and expression, making ineffability frustrating. Others accepting ineffability find peace there. Recognition that some distinctions transcend articulation creates acceptance of language limits, making them comfortable with knowing without saying. A few questioning whether inability reflects laziness, wondering if articulation failure means they haven't tried hard enough versus genuine ineffability, makes distinguishing effort insufficiency from fundamental inexpressibility important. Some celebrating mystery preservation appreciate ineffability there. Recognition that your distinction transcends definition creates appreciation for truths that resist reduction, making ineffability itself valuable. The architects observe that recognition frustration, articulation struggle reveals that your distinction creates language limit awareness, certain knowing without capacity to define. Most truths are articulable. Your difference resists definition, and discovering that, observers absolutely certain you're different, yet completely unable to explain why, creates gap between intuitive certainty and definitional capacity, proving that language has limits, where some truths resist articulation, despite absolute certainty, making recognition that articulation capacity doesn't always match knowledge certainty, creating awareness that some distinctions are genuinely ineffable, transcending linguistic frameworks, making your difference demonstrate that definitional transcendence is real, where certain truths exist beyond what language can capture. Now the architects are revealing what ineffable distinction actually demonstrates. Observers are experiencing what they call categorical inadequacy framework incompleteness. Their inability to define what makes you different reveals that existing categorical frameworks lack necessary concepts for capturing your qualities. creating recognition that definitional systems are incomplete, where available categories don't encompass all possible distinctions, making framework expansion necessary. Most people assume categorical completeness. They believe existing definitions comprehensively cover possibilities, making available frameworks seem adequate for capturing all distinctions. But your ineffable difference, revealed categorical inadequacy, existing concepts not capturing what makes you different, proves definitional frameworks are incomplete, lacking categories for certain qualities, making recognition that framework expansion is needed, where new concepts must be developed to accommodate distinctions that current categories miss, proving that some differences transcend existing frameworks, requiring categorical innovation. Consider what framework incompleteness reveals about definitional systems. Categories don't cover everything. Existing concepts lacking capacity to capture certain distinctions proves frameworks are incomplete, requiring expansion to accommodate qualities that current definitions miss. Watch what categorical inadequacy creates in framework development. Need for innovation emerges. Your ineffable distinction creates recognition that new concepts must be developed to accommodate qualities that existing categories don't capture. Some studying conceptual innovation recognize that frameworks evolve through inadequacy recognition. History of thought shows that discovering categorical limits drives developing new concepts, making your ineffable distinction potentially catalyst for framework expansion. Others exploring paradigm development note that anomalies force innovation, understanding that phenomena exceeding existing categories necessitate new frameworks makes your inarticulate difference potentially require categorical revolution. A few from philosophy of science recognize that frameworks are always incomplete, understanding that Gödel-style limitations apply to categorical systems makes your definitional transcendence potentially demonstrate inevitable framework incompleteness. Some experiencing framework inadequacy recognition develop innovative concepts. Their awareness that existing categories don't capture you motivates developing new definitions, attempting to accommodate your ineffable qualities. Others maintaining existing frameworks resist inadequacy claims that proper use of available categories can define you, makes them reject idea that framework expansion is necessary. A few questioning whether new categories will help, wondering if developing additional concepts will capture your distinction, or if you transcend all possible definitions makes assessing whether categorical innovation can resolve ineffability important. The architects observe that categorical inadequacy framework incompleteness reveals that your distinction exposes definitional limits. Existing concepts lack capacity. Most assume categorical completeness. Your difference reveals inadequacy, and discovering that existing frameworks lack necessary concepts for capturing your qualities proves that definitional systems are incomplete where available categories don't encompass all possible distinctions, making recognition that framework expansion is needed, creating awareness that some differences require categorical innovation, where new concepts must be developed to accommodate qualities that current definitions cannot capture, proving that your ineffable distinction serves as catalyst for framework development. Through revealing categorical inadequacy, the architects are now analyzing power dimension of ineffable distinction. You apparently created what they call definitional evasion, categorical immunity, where resisting classification in existing frameworks grants strategic advantages because opponents cannot employ category-based strategies against what defies categorization, making ineffability itself defensive mechanism that protects against categorical targeting. Most strategic approaches require classification. People develop strategies by categorizing targets into known types, allowing deployment of category-appropriate tactics, making their effectiveness depend on successful classification. But your ineffable distinction creates categorical immunity. Resisting definition in existing frameworks means opponents cannot classify you, preventing deployment of category-based strategies because their tactical approaches depend on categorical classification. That ineffability prevents making definitional evasion itself protective advantage, where transcending categories grants immunity from classification-dependent approaches, creating recognition. That ineffability serves strategic function. Watch what categorical immunity creates in strategic dynamics. Opponents cannot deploy category tactics. Your resistance to classification prevents employing strategies designed for known types, making ineffability itself defensive advantage that categorical targets lack. Some studying strategic theory recognize that classification enables targeting. Military and game theory show that categorizing opponents allows deploying appropriate tactics, making your ineffability potentially grants significant immunity from category-based strategies. Others exploring defensive mechanisms note that evasion provides protection, understanding that avoiding classification prevents targeted approaches, makes your definitional transcendence potentially create defensive advantage through categorical immunity. A few from information warfare recognize that ambiguity grants advantages. Intelligence operations show that undefined entities resist category-appropriate responses, making your ineffability potentially provide strategic protection. Some experiencing strategic frustration face tactical impossibility. Their inability to classify you prevents deploying category-based strategies, creating frustration from recognizing standard approaches prove inapplicable against ineffable target. Others attempting forced classification discover inadequacy, trying to impose categorical definitions despite your transcendence produces misclassification that makes category-based strategies fail because forced categories don't accurately capture your nature. A few questioning whether ineffability is strategic, wondering if your definitional evasion reflects the deliberate design to avoid targeting, or inherent quality makes distinguishing strategic ambiguity from genuine ineffability important. Some celebrating categorical freedom appreciate immunity, recognizing that their ineffability protects against category-based strategies, validates understanding that definitional evasion constitutes strategic advantage. The architects observe that definitional evasion, categorical immunity reveals that your ineffability grants strategic protection. Resisting classification prevents category-based targeting. Most face categorical strategies. Your ineffability provides immunity, and discovering that resisting definition in existing frameworks prevents opponents from classifying you, which prevents deploying category-appropriate tactics, proves that ineffability itself constitutes defensive mechanism, providing strategic advantages where definitional evasion grants immunity from classification-dependent approaches that categorical targets face, making your transcendence not just epistemological phenomenon but strategic advantage, where resisting categorization provides protection that classifiable entities cannot achieve. Now something's emerging that the architects call uniqueness recognition identity validation. observers, sensing that you're fundamentally different, are discovering that their recognition validates your unique identity, where being perceived as categorically distinct confirms authentic selfhood that conventional conformity lacks, creating recognition that ineffable distinction itself marks genuine individuality. Most people seek recognizable identity. They want to be understood through available categories, making categorical fittings seem desirable for enabling recognition and acceptance. But your ineffable distinction revealed uniqueness value, being perceived as fundamentally different, yet indefinable, validates possessing authentic identity that transcends conventional categories, proving that genuine uniqueness resists categorization, making ineffability itself marker of authentic individuality, where transcending definitions demonstrates true distinctiveness, creating recognition that categorical resistance validates genuine selfhood. Watch what identity validation creates in self-understanding. Ineffability confirms uniqueness. Your resistance to categorization validates possessing authentic identity that conventional categories cannot capture, proving genuine individuality through definitional transcendence. Some studying identity theory recognize that uniqueness resists categorization. Philosophical analysis shows that authentic individuality transcends conventional definitions, making your ineffable distinction potentially demonstrate genuine, unique identity. Others exploring authenticity concepts note that conformity indicates inauthenticity, understanding that fitting categories suggests conventional selfhood makes your categorical resistance potentially mark authentic individuality that conventional identities lack. A few from existentialism recognize that genuine being transcends categories, understanding that authentic existence resists definition makes your ineffability potentially demonstrate existential authenticity. Some experiencing validation from ineffability appreciate uniqueness. Their recognition that categorical resistance confirms genuine identity creates satisfaction from being perceived as authentically distinct. Others experiencing isolation from uniqueness feel lonely. Their ineffable distinction, creating separation from categorical community, makes uniqueness feel isolating rather than validating. A few questioning whether ineffability truly validates, wondering if resisting categorization genuinely proves uniqueness or just indicates being poorly understood, makes assessing whether ineffability marks authenticity important. Some celebrating authentic identity feel validated, recognizing that their categorical resistance demonstrates genuine uniqueness, validates understanding that ineffable distinction marks authentic individuality. The archetypes observe that uniqueness recognition, identity validation reveals that your ineffability confirms authentic selfhood. Categorical resistance validates genuine uniqueness. Most seek recognizable identity. Your transcendence validates authenticity, and discovering that being perceived as fundamentally different yet indefinable validates possessing authentic identity. Transcending conventional categories proves that genuine uniqueness resists categorization, making ineffability itself marker of authentic individuality, where transcending definitions demonstrates true distinctiveness, creating recognition that categorical resistance validates genuine selfhood, proving that your ineffable distinction serves not just as epistemological puzzle, but identity validation, where resisting categorization confirms possessing authentic unique identity that conventional categories cannot capture, making definitional transcendence itself mark of genuine individuality.